arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The Venerable Mahakassapa and the king of the gods, Sakka Devanaminda. It means the rule of the Tawatinsa Deva realm. The story goes as normally, as we know, we found in a previous sutta of the Mahakassapa Sutta also, that normally Mahakassapa likes to take Pindapata from the, he likes to take Pindapata from the poor ones. But in this case, Sakka, the king of deities, wanted to offer Pindapata to him, and how he offered this. This is the short story regarding this offering. We'll start to read it. I think everyone can see the screen.
Yes, Bhante. I think your connection is not so
good. Udāna Sutta. Any who is willing?
May I try the translation today, Bhante?
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah, I can't hear you clearly, but I will start. Yes.
Please. Yeah, sure.
Evang me sutang ekang samayang bhagava rajagahe viharati velvane kalandaka nivape. And thus was heard by me. At one time, the Blessed One was dwelling near Rajagaha in the bamboo forest at the squirrel's feeding place. Tena kopana samayena ayasma mahakasapo pipali guhayang yarati sattahang eka balankena nisinno hoti anyatarang samadhing samapachitva. Then at that time, Venerable Mahakassapa was dwelling in Pipali cave. He was sitting in one cross-legged posture for 7 days, having attained a certain level of concentration. Atako ayasma mahakasapo tassa sattahassa achayena tamha samadimha buddhasi. Then Venerable Mahakassapa, with the lapse of 7 days, emerged from that concentration. Atako ayasmato mahakassapassa. Sorry. Can you?
Mahakassapa.
Yeah, please stop the screen. Atako ayasmato mahakassapassa tamha samadhimha buddhitassa etadohosi. Then this occurred to Venerable Mahakassapa, having emerged from that concentration. Yang
Who emerged from that concentration?
Venerable
Who emerged from this
Mahakassapa.
concentration?
Venerable Mahakassapa. So this occurred to him after Venerable Mahakassapa after emerging from that concentration.
Okay.
Yang nunahang rajagahang bindaya pavisayanti. I should enter Rajagaha for arms. Tenakopana samayena panchamattani devata satani usukang apanani honti ayasmato mahakasapasa indabata patilabhaya. Then at that time about 500 devata was ready and eager to give alms food to Venerable Mahakassapa. Atako ayasma Mahakasapo tani panchamattani devata satani patikkipitwa pupanha samayang nivasetwa tatajivarama daya rajagahang bindaya pavisi. But Venerable Mahakassapa, after refusing those 500 devatas, having dressed, and after dressed in the morning time, taking his robe and bowl, he entered Rajagaha for arms. Tenakopana samayena sakko devanamindo ayasmato mahakasapasa pindapatang datukamo hoti. And then at that time, Sakka, the Deva's king, was desirous to offer alms food to Venerable Mahakassapa. Pesakara vannang abhinimitwa tantang vinati. Having created the appearance of a river, he weaved a thread. Suja asura kanya tasarang pureti. Suja, the asura maiden, was feeling the shutter. Atako ayasma mahakasapo rachikahe sabadanang bindaya charamano yena sakasa deva namindasa nivasanang tenupasankami. Then Venerable Mahakassapa, while walking successively in Rajagaha for alms, he arrived the house of Sakka, the Deva's king. Dasa ko sakko devanamindo ayasmantang mahakasapang duratoa agachantang. The Sakka, the Deva's king, saw Venerable Mahakassapa coming from afar. Yiswana gara mikkamitwa pachudantwa hatato pattang gahetwa garang pavisitwa gatiya odanang uddaritwa pattang puretwa ayasmato Mahakassapasa adasi. Having seen the Venerable, he left the house, taking the bowl from. He left the house, went to meet. Went to meet the Venerable, took the bowl from his hand, entered the house, took the cooked rice from the pot, filled the bowl, and gave it to Venerable Mahakassapa.
This one, Hattato Pattangahetta, please translate it. Took with the hand.
With not
the hand.
from.
Because this is, this
Yeah, okay.
Hattato is belong to the Sakka with the hand.
Yeah,
Right?
I got it.
I'll explain that.
Yeah, so using his hand, taking the ball from Venerable Mahakasapa, is it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ahosi Bindabato, Aneka Supo, Aneka Yanjano, Aneka Rasabyanjano, and it was the alms food of many types of curries made of green peas, many types of curries of many tastes. Atako ayasmato mahakasapasa etadahosi. Then this occurred to the Venerable Mahakasapa. Ko nuko ayang sakto yasayang evarupo idhanupavoti. Who is this being that has such prosperity and power? Atako ayasmato mahakasapasa etadahosi. Then this occurs to Venerable Mahakasapa. Sako ko ayang devana mindoti. This is Saka, the Deva's king. Iti viditva sakang devani mindang etadavocha. Having understood that, he said to Saka, the Deva's king, Katanko te idang kosiya ma punapi evarupa makasiti. This is your kosiya, this is your doing. Don't do such a thing again. Amha kampi.
Actually, this is done by you. Te is
Yes.
by you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is done by you, kosiya. Don't do such a thing again. Amha kampi bhante kasapa punyena atto. Amha kampi punyena karaniyanti. Bhante Kasapa, to us, there's also a need for marriage. There's also to us, we also do marriage. Is that right?
Amahakampi Bante Kasapunyena Atto. We are also in need of merit. Punyena Atto. Like Pattena Atto. Right.
Yes.
Amahakampi Punyena Karaniya. There are things like there are used for us. Like there are things that we have to do with merits.
Yes, there are things that we need to do with merits. Atako sakko devanamindo ayasmantang mahakasapang abiwa detwa padakinang katwa vihasang abugantwa agase antalike tikatung udanang udanesi. Then Saka, the Deva's king, saluted and circumambulated the Venerable Mahakasapa. He rose up to the sky, and while in the sky, in the air, he uttered this utterance. Aho danang paramadanang kasape spatikitang. All this, the best dana, the best dana was well established in Kasapa for 3 times the Katung. Asosi ko bhagawa dippaya sotadhatuya visuddhaya atikanta manusikaya sakasa devanamindasa vehasang abhugantwa akase antalike tikatung udanan dasa. Then the Blessed One saw with his divine eyes, which is purified.
Divine ear.
Yes,
Sort of
sorry,
like.
divine ear, which was purified, surpassed that of men. So he saw, he was the devil's king, arose into the sky, and while in the sky, in the air, uttered for 3 times this utterance.
Actually, he heard what the Sakka said, right? He heard what the Sakka said, right?
Sorry.
So Ahodanam, we finished.
Yeah, so we finished.
What did he heard? Ahodanam.
Ahodanang Baramadanang Kasape Sapatiktitang. All this dana, the best dana, was well established in Kasapa. Yes.
Sadhu. Very nicely done. Thank you. Thank you for your translation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu. So yeah, the translation is done well. So we'll try to analyze the sutta, some grammatical points that we need to discuss here. So is there any, can you hear me? First thing, the first question I want to know. Is the voice is clear? Okay, right. So Sakkudana Sutta. So this was the Udāna uttered by Sakka. Sakkudana means, actually if you have to divide it, Sakkassa Udāna. Utterance of the Sakka. So at the end of all the suttas, we have utterance given by the Buddha. Here the utterance was made by Sakka in the sutta, and at the end Buddha also gave an utterance. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, right. Okay, right. Evam me sutta. Ekan samayam bhagava rajagahe vihirati velvane kalandaka nivape. I think everyone can understand that. Tena kopana samayena is also clear. Ayasma mahakassapo pippali guhayam vihirati. I think everyone can understand. It's no need to translate. He was living in the cave called Pippali. Then sattahang ekapalankena nisinno hoti anyatarang samading samapajjitva. So here the first sentence is sattahang. The sentence is sattahang ekapalankena nisinno hoti. Hoti is the verb. Then we have jajaran anyatarang samading samapajjitva. The subject of both the actions is Mahakassapa, Ayasma Mahakassapo. He was living viharati, and he was nisinno hoti. We can say this is the entire verb. He was sitting, having entered samapajjitva. The object of samapajjitva is samadhi, a certain concentration. Anyatarang is a certain concentration. So then the sitting, the instrument of sitting was ekapalankena, in one sitting posture. One sitting, ekapalankena, in one cross-leg posture without breaking. Sattahang shows that continuously. This is the achanta sanyoga. Like if something happens, an action or a thing continuously for a certain time, that time or the space is written in accusative case. Then the tradition explains this samadhi, we call it, even though we call it samadhi, this was the nirodha samapatti that he has entered upon. There is no samadhi, means no concentration at the nirodha samapatti, because there's no chitta arising it. But there is a way we can call this nirodha samapatti also a samadhi. It's not in the sense of concentration. It's for like we come into a state of non-existing of the chitta chetasikas. So they say is adatabbato. It's like seems like you have to place yourself in such a state. So therefore it says not because of the non-destruction. This is by a different meaning. We call it a samadhi. It's a nirodha samapatti according to the tradition. The ancient Theras have considered it as the nirodha samapatti. So then atako ayasma mahakassapo Tassa sattahassa acchayena tamma samadhimma vuttasi. This is also a sentence that we have already done. Atako is then. Atta is then. Ayasma mahakasapa is the subject. Tassa sattahassa acchayena. After the elapsing of these 7 days. Tassa sattahassa acchayena. So when we have the acchayena, we use the days, the time, or the time which has passed, or the person who have passed in this genitive case. Tassa sattahassa. After elapsing of those 7 days. Tassa is referring to the sattahassa, those. I think you can understand. It's divided as satta aha. 7 days. After the elapsing of these 7 days, tamha samadhimha vuttasi. He emerged from that samadhi. It means the Nirodha Samapatti. Atako ayasmato mahakassapassa tamha samadhimha vuttitassa etadahosi. Then, ata ayasmato mahakassapassa tamha samadhimha vuttitassa etadahosi. We know that if something occurs to us, some thought occurs to someone, a feeling or a thought, we normally use the person to whom it occurred should be written in dative case, or sometimes it can be referred as genitive case, whatever it is. Ayasmato mahakassapassa etadahosi. This thought occurred to him. Then this tamha samadhimha vuttitassa, this part explains the characteristic of Mahakassapa. So we have to translate it. Then this thought occurred to Mahakassapa, who has emerged from the samadhi, from that concentration, or from that attainment. It's better to translate attainment here, because it was the Nirodha Samapatti according to the tradition. So this thought occurred to Venerable Mahakassapa, who had emerged from that attainment. So what did he thought? Yannu nahang rajagahang pindaya pavise. It's better to translate. It is good that if I enter rajagahang paviseya. It's a optative case because of the yannu nahang. So when yannu, so this yannu nahang is 2 words. Yang nuna plus ahang, yanunahang. So because of this yanuna, we have the optative case used. So the translation should be, it is good if I enter to Rajagaha for Pindapata. Right? This is the normal explanation. There was no much things to discuss on this. It's a very simple, like grammatically, it's not very complicated. So shall I proceed to the next paragraph? If you have any questions.
Sorry, Bhante,
yes.
may I ask one question, Bhante?
Yes,
about the Yang Nuna Ahang, Bhante. So does it have interrogative sense also, Bhante? Because in Warder, I see that he give it as like, what if, or it would be good if, like that it's like question, Bhante. Interrogative.
Does he mention that it's interrogative, or it's on like what if I go, something like that? It's
yes, like that, Bhante, roughly. So like what if I go to Rajagahang for alms, like that?
But I think it's also similar, right? It's like I'm unable to explain it. Dr. Ryan, how do you explain that? Is it an interrogative phrase? Like
this is like a what is the word? This is not a real question, but
yeah, it's not a real question, right?
Yes, it's a what is the technical term? I don't remember the technical term now. But yeah, it's not a real question. I think it should be better to translate. It would be good.
It would be good.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I do something, if I would do something, it would be good if I would do something. Yeah.
Right.
So maybe it's just like more like he is wondering, like that.
Yes.
He's thinking like, okay.
It seems like he's thinking, what is the best to do?
Oh, okay.
It's not an interrogative, like it's not questioning from someone else, I think.
Oh yes, but actually it's not like questioning by other person, but he's just questioning by himself, like that, Bhante. Maybe in what.
So it would be good if I enter Rajagaha for Pindapata. Thank you. So then,
thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Dr. Raya.
Right, so then we go into the next paragraph. Tenokopana samayena panchamattani devasa satani ussukkaṃ āpānnāni honti āyasmato mahakassapassa pindapata patilabhaya. Tenokopana samayena, we know this is the instrumental of time at that time. Panchamattani devata satani, about 500 deities. So we know this, how to divide this. Pancha Sata Mattha Mattani, or if you want Mattani Deva Ta. Right, this is how the meaning should be taken. If you make it more clear, Panchasata 500. Mattani is about Devata. So there are about 500 deities. The commentary says these were the attendant deities of female deities of the Sakha. Apannani honti. Ussukkaṃ apannani, they were, we take it as a one clause. They were eager, they were interested. So ussukkaṃ, they attained the effort. Ussukka is effort. Apannani, they attain. So it means they were eager, they were energetic. Honti, so this is the verb. Honti, for what? What was their intent? So to what they were eager. So this, the next part explains what was their intention. Ayasmato mahakassapassa pindapata patilabhaya. So ayasmato mahakassapassa pindapata patilabhaya. So here we can see pindapata patilabhaya aya. So this is patilabha is patilabho, no, it's a masculine gender noun. So we divide this as pindapata plus pati labha, right? Plus this aya is a dative suffix. This aya is a dative suffix. So this aya, so when we use aya as the dative suffix, we have few meanings. I'll come to that in the lecture notes. Normally we said this is the dative of purpose. This aya has, normally the grammarians say, when we use aya in the dative, we have 4 specific meanings according to literature. So one is the purpose. So here, patilabha is obtaining, gaining. Pindapata is the food, gaining of food. Right? So they were, the purpose was for their obtaining of the food, for the obtaining of. Someone can also think about 2 Mahakassapa, but personally I feel because this is Pindapata Patilabha and Mahakassapa. So Patilabha is an action noun. So this action noun, it's like ing noun, obtaining, the gaining. So we also discussed in the lecture notes, we'll come to that. When we use an abstract noun, the subject should be written in genitive case. The object can be written in either in genitive or either in accusative. So this pindapata can be either pindapat. If you make it more grammatical, this is, I'm just divided the words. If you make it grammatical, it would be either pindapatang or pindapatas. Pindapatang or pindapatas. Then the subject is in another word. So who's obtaining? Venerable Mahakassapa. So this normally grammatically we take it as the genitive case. So they were eager for the obtaining of pindapata of Venerable Mahakassapa. It means they wanted to make him receive, they wanted him to receive food. It means literally they wanted to offer him food. So instead of saying they were desirous to offer him food, this is another way of saying they were interested in, eager in for the obtaining of food of Venerable Mahakassapa. It seems very odd when we translate grammatically. even you translate, they were interested in offering food to Pindapata to Venerable Mahakassapa. This makes sense. If you are writing, if you are just translating to give the meaning, that meaning is still okay. But if you go grammatically step by step, we have to say they were eager for the obtaining of food of Venerable Mahakassapa. Yeah. If you have any questions regarding this point. We'll go to the lecture notes and want to give you some we already discussed about the abstract nouns, the usage. In abstract noun, we get the roots. The subject should be written in genitive case. The object should be verbal nouns, right? Object should be written in accusative or genitive case. So I need to find the I think we discussed it, right? Anyway, I cannot find it at the moment. Okay, we'll write it down. So of the abstract nouns, for example, sorry for that, abstract kitaka nouns, because there are two types of abstract nouns. One is the taddita abstract nouns, the other is the kitaka abstract nouns. Taddita abstract nouns shows a nature of a noun, like kitaka abstract noun, like for example, pati, we say pach, to cook, plus ana, pachana, this is cooking, right? This is just cooking, the action of cooking. Then if you say patilaba, pati, lab, lab, pati, labha, the I is long, then obtaining or receiving. So the rule is the object, the subject of an abstract kitaka noun should case. Then the object of an abstract kitaka noun should be written in genitive case or accusative case. This is the two rules, very important rules. So when we say for example, bhikkhussa, bhikkhussa patassa, or we can say patang kaha. Now, the taking of the ball of, actually it should be done taking of the ball done by the monk, right, roughly. Normally it should be taking of the ball by the monk, right? So the meaning should be, so here the subject is written in genitive case. This is the subject. This pattas and pattang is the object. It can be written either in genitive or accusative case. So when we say Maha Kassapassa, Pindapata Pati La Bo, for example, Patilabo. So we'll just leave the labaya for the other grammatical rule. So here, what is the patilaba is an abstract noun, kitakab. So we have to, if we detail this word, patilaba, maha, kassa, passa, should be pinda, patassa, or it can be pinda, patang, pati, la, the obtaining of food of Venerable Mahakassapa. I think everyone can see this here. This is the subject of the Patilaba, receiving. He's the one who receives. Pindapatang and Pindapatassa is the object, what he receives. So therefore, we normally say Mahakassapassa is a genitive case because of this rule. This is a rule found in Pāļi. Aya suffix, right, meaning the dative aya suffix. So this aya suffix have 4 meanings according to the grammarians. To my knowledge, it was can be found in Saddhaniti also. So we have 4 meanings of the aya suffix. One is the purpose. For example, Buddho Sukhaya Dhammang Deseti. So Sukhaya, I think we explained this purpose in many ways. It's like in the vocabulary handouts I have given. Buddho Sukhaya Dhammang Deseti means he preaches Dhamma for the happiness, or it can be an abstract verb also. For example, Taranaya Dhammang Deseti. He preaches Dhamma for the Buddho Taranaya Deseti. Right. So it means he preaches Dhamma for the crossing of the samsara. Then we come into the other meanings, meaning of going. Up, we can see this in the Dhammapada. Appo Saggaya Gacchati. Very less people go to the heavens, right? Less people go to the, instead of normally when say Gacchati, the place where you go should be written in accusative case. Here we rewrite in the dative case. Appo Saggaya Gacchati. Very less people goes to the heavens. Instead of saying Appo Saggang Gacchati, Buddha has used Appo Saggaya Gacchati. Then we leading. So leading means gaving, puriso, gaving dakaya neti. Dakai is water. The man leads the cow to the water. Normally the place where you lead someone, the place where you go, the place where you lead someone else should also be written in accusative case. That's the rule. So instead of saying dakang, daka is water, instead of puriso gavin dakang neti, the man leads the cow to the water, we use dakaya neti. Use the dative of I case ending. So this is found in some cases, some places, especially in the Patimokka, we find a word Viramatayasmanto Maumvachanaya. Viramutu Ayasma Mama Vachanaya. So the idea is don't advise me, right? That's the Sesa Viramutu Ayasmanto actually. Should be Viramantu. Just give me one moment. I'll check the real usage. This is Dubbacha Sikkapada. Viramatayasman, which is Viramata. This is the second person, plural. Viramatayasmanto. Right, this is a Sandhi. Viramatayasmanto Momachanaya. So actually, when you abstain from something, right? Abstain from something, what we use is the ablative case, from what you abstain. So Viramata is the abstain, is second person plural. So instead of saying Mama Vachana, because Vachana is a neuter gender now, neuter gender. So Vachanaya is a dative suffix, I suffix. So these are change of case. It may be found in other change of other cases, like other cases changing into dative case. So these are the four meanings of this I suffix. I think I have given this in a vocabulary handout. So to renew this memory. So this is how the suffix of I is used. So here, when we say Mahakassapassa Pindapata Patilabhaya, right? So if you take the example, they were interested in yes, Mato Mahakassapassa Pindapata Patilabhaya, right? So Usukang Apanani Anti. They were eager to so here aya is the dative suffix for the purpose, for the obtaining of food of Venerable Mahakassapa. So this sentence we found few grammatical rules: the subject and the object of abstract Kitaka noun, and the meanings of the aya suffix. Yeah. If you have any questions regarding this. Okay, so then we'll move to the sutta back. So then we come Atako Ayasma Mahakassapo Thani Panchamattani Devata Satani Patikkipitva Pubana Samayang Nivasitva Rajagahang Pindaya Pavisi. Then Venerable Mahakassapa Thani Panchamattani Devata Satani Patikkipitva. So this is a Jeran. This is a Jeran. Nivasitva is a Jeran. Adhaya is a Jeran. I think it's an easy sentence. We already know this meaning. Rajagahang Pindaya Pavisi is a verb, right? So whom did he refuse? These 500 female deities. Then Nivasitva, having dressed the underrobe in the morning time, having taken the upper robe and the double robe and the ball, and Rajagaham Pindaya entered to Rajagaha. Another rule that I would like to say is, like, normally the word Sata, right? So Sata is like can be written in how to say, normally it's we normally use it as satang in a singular form, we normally find it in a singular form, sata. But in some cases, we can find the plural form also, satani, sahasani. Otherwise, now sata, eka sata, dvi sata, we don't have the plural forms of these nouns in grammatical. But in some cases, sata and sahasa, 1,000 and 100, we can find the plural form also. Then Tenako Panasamena at the time, Sakko Devanamindo, Ayasmato Mahakassapassa Pindapatang, Dhatu Kamo Hoti. So here we find this is the verb hoti, and Dhatu Kamo in the nominative case. So this is a Pakati Kattu, Pikati Kattu. So subject is Sakko Devanamindo. So this is a Pakati Kattu, Kata. We can say Kattu, right? And Dhatu Kamo is a Vikati Kattu. So because he was originally the Sakka, and he had a desire to offer food to Venerable Mahakassapa. Ayasmato Mahakassapassa Pindapatan Dhatu Kamo Hoti. So here Ayasmato Mahakassapassa is genitive case, dative case. Why is that? Because of Dhatu. Dhatu should be translated as Dhatum Kamo. Dhatum Kamo. This is a samasa word. Tappurisa samasa. Nigahita is dropped. Dhatu Kamo. Chatutti Tappurisa samasa. So when you give something to someone, the thing which is given should be written in accusative case. To whom we give is written in dative case. This is called the direct object, what you give. Indirect object is the person who receives. So here it's not like the patilaba, because patilaba is obtaining. So here the subject is Devanamida, right? In the patilaba, the subject is Ayasmato Mahakassapu. He obtains. Here when Sakka gives, the subject is the Devanamida. One who receives should be written in dative case. So there are two similar, when we say in English, here also the one who receives, Patilaba, the one who receives is Mahakassapa. Here also the one who receives is Mahakassapa. But the difference is, when we say Dhatu Kamo, the root is Da, right? Root is Da, to give. Here when we say Patilaba, the root is Pati plus love, right? Pati plus love. So here we have a different roots. So even though in English we say one who receives according to Laba, but the one who receives is the subject in the root Laba. When we come to the root Da, the one who receives is not the subject. One who gives is the subject. One who receives should be written in dative case. So that is why here Mahakassapa is a dative case. In the previous paragraph, the Mahakassapa who obtains the food, who receives the food, is called the subject here, right? So here the subject, but it's written in genitive case because of the rule Kitaka, abstract Kitaka noun. The subject should be written in genitive case. So he was desirous to give food to Venerable Mahakassapa. Dhatu Kamo Hoti. It's a simple sentence like Siddhartho Buddho Hoti. Siddhartha is the Buddha now. He becomes the desirous to give food to Venerable Mahakassapa. Right? So then we come into the next sentence. Pesakara Vannang Abhiniminitva. He created appearance of a weaver. Pesakara Vannang Abhiniminitva Tantang Vinati. He weaves the thread. Then Suja Asurakanya, his wife Suja. Her name was Suja Asurakanya, because the thing was, Sakka, according to our literature, he had a retinue, like a group of Kalyana Mittas. They were doing lots of merits together. He was called Magga Manavaka. So when they were born as a group in the Tavatinsa realm. But the thing, what happened was, he had 4 wives in that former life. That one of the wives was not very eager in offering and doing the merits. All the other 3 wives were very supportive to him. But one wife was not much eager. But she also did some merits, but not very interested like the other three. So the literature says when the whole retinue, including the elephant, there was an elephant also, who all were born in the realm of 33 together, because the Tavatinsa has it's governed by a panel. Panel means like a mini cabinet. Sakka is the leader, and there are 33 ministers. So this was the one occasion where all the 33 were born together. So normally one passes away, and that position is replaced by another person who is born there. But in this case, in our Sakka's case, all the 33 were born together. But this one lady who was in the previous life, she was born as an Asura, in the realm of Asuras. Asura means they are also kind of devas, but they are little bit against the devas. They are quite against the devas. So she was born in the Asura realm. It belongs to these Asuras belongs to the Tavatinsa realm, because according to literature, they were sent away by the Sakka from the Asura realm. So she was born among the Asuras, and the Sakka brought her back. Brought her back means he took her back. So her name was Suja, and she was originally she was born among the Asuras, and she was taken by Sakka by force, like by a fight. So since she was not very eager in doing merits, instead of being born among the Tavatinsas with the Sakka, she was born in the group of Asuras. But it belong in terms of Patisandhi, we divide them, we classify them in the Tavatinsa group. So she was filling the shuttles. She was filling the shuttles that they were doing some weaving according to the past techniques of the past. Atako asma mahakasapo rajagahe pin sapadanang pindaya charaman. Sapadana. So this is a adverb, successively. We know adverb can be used in accusative case or instrumental case. So atako asma mahakasa, then Venerable Mahakasava, rajagahe, in rajagaha, sapadanam pindaya charamanu. This is the participle. This is the important part. We know that in a word, in a sentence, we have to see the words with verbal meanings. So upasankami is the verb. Upasankami is the verb. Charamanu is a present participle. We normally name it as the absolute, present nominative absolute. Rajagaha, while wandering, Rajagaha pindaya charamanu. Wandering in Rajagaha, 4 arms pindaya, sapadana, successively, because he didn't give up any house. When we go pindapata, we can go as we like. We can go to the houses we like, or we can go to the houses we are that surely would give us food. Or even a monk, if he is really want to have good food, he may also go to houses which gives good food, which is not very highly praised, but it is not against the Vinaya, because you can go pindapata. The practice of this pindapata is called sapadana. Any house, you go from house to house without skipping any house. So whether it's a rich house or poor house, it gives good food or bad food means bad, not very high taste. Doesn't matter. You have to go directly. So even in such cases, according to the instructions given by the Buddha, if you feel like a certain house is people in a certain house is not interested in giving, they see we as a burden. If we are coming, like we are like beggars who are going from house to house, if they see that, consider us or monks as a burden, it's allowed to skip. Doesn't break the sapadana. And if someone has a doubt that this house is against the monk, so they may give us some really bad food for our health, something like mixed with poison or something mixed with toxics and all. In that case also we can refuse, and we may not go into such houses. That is also allowed. So sapadana doesn't mean that you have to go to each and every house, regardless the dangers and all. We cannot skip house because of our interest, because of our wanting. If you see this is a rich house, where we may go and get good food, and this is a bad house, we may skip it. We should not do that. So that is what called Sapadanang Pindaya Charamano. He goes from house to house. So there you can see this practice explained in the Visuddhi Magga. Then he went Upasankami. We know this, the usage of Yena and Tena. Yena Sakkasa Devana Mindasa Nivesanam Tena Upasankami. The place where he went was Nivesana, house. That belonged to Sakkasa Devana Mindasa. Now you can see. Last time we said we put the Yena and Tena in between the place where we go. So we can say Yena Nivesanam Tena Upasankami. Yena Nivesanam Tena Upasankami. But here we can see the Sakkasa Devana Mindasa, the possession, the one who owns the house, the owner of the house, creator of the house, is also put in between Yena and Tena. So we can have some words in between the nominative place and the Yena and Tena. So Yena Sakkasa Devana Mindasa Nivesanam, where the house of the Devana, the Sakka, which was created by the Sakka, he approached there. He approached there. Then Addasako Sakko Devana Mindo Ayasmantang Mahakassapan Durato Agachantam. We also discuss about this rule. They saw him, Addasako Sakko Devana Mindo, Sakka saw Venerable Mahakassapa from far away, while who was coming from far. Means he saw Venerable Mahakassapa before he came close. Durato Agachantam. He saw it from far away. It was not referring to the person who is coming from far away because it was of the Eva. It is that because he saw him not before he came close, from far away he saw Venerable Mahakassapa. This one gara nikkamitva. So now Addasa is the verb. Now we start with the gerund of that next sentence is started from the gerund of that same verb. This one is a gerund. Nikkamitva is a gerund. Then Pachuggantva is a gerund. There are many gerunds here. Hattato Pattang Gahitva is a gerund. Then Garam Pavisitva is a gerund. But one thing is, when you translate such a sentence in English, it seems very odd to put such gerunds in between. So we can divide the sentence. Like we can stop the sentence after one or two gerunds. Like when the Sayadaw Nodiyana also instructed us when we were translating. Now, for example, having seen, he departed from his house. We can stop the sentence. Instead of saying having seen, having departed from the house, having gone front to meet him, having taken the ball from the hand and so forth. So instead of saying it in a long sentence, because in English it's very weird, it's not good. So we can just say, having seen Venerable Mahakassapa, he went out from the house. Then having gone in front, having met him, having gone front to meet him, he took the ball with his hand. So likewise, we can shorten the Pāli sentence. Instead of writing in a gerund form, you can write the past tense verb in English when you are translating, right? That is also for the ones who are translating. So having departed from the house, and then we still have gerunds, right? Garam Pavisitva, Gatiya Odanam Uddaritva. You can see there's another gerund. Pattam Puritva, Ayasmato Mahakassapassa Adasi. So we can see this entire sentence. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gerunds and one verb. I think it's not easy to directly put such a sentence into English. It seems very weird. So he departed from the house. It's easy to understand. Pachugganta, having gone front to meet. Pachugachati means you go in front. When someone is coming, you go front to meet him. Pachugantva. Then Hattato Pattangahitva. So Hattato Pattangahitva. So this one, normally we can have two meanings when we see this. You take the ball from the hand of Venerable Mahakassapa, or you can take the Sakka took the ball with his hands, because to suffix have the meanings of instrumental and ablative both. We have instrumental meaning and also ablative. So to suffix. So here we normally have a usage like hattato pindaya charati. In that case, we normally use it that he goes pindapata with his hand instead of going with the ball. They go pindapata with hand, which is not allowed for monks. We are not allowed to go pindapata we cannot collect pindapata as a alms food to our hands. You can receive, monks can receive food to their hands, that is not prohibited, but we cannot go for alms round without a bowl, with just having a just with the intention of receiving food to our hand, which is not very proper according to the Buddha's decision. So therefore hattato pindaya charati. So they go for pindapata with the hands. So even I asked you to translate in instrumental, that the sisters translated with ablative, which is not a problem. We can have both the meanings. I'm not saying it's wrong. So but the Sakka went and took the ball from his with his hand. The Sakka took the ball with his, having paid respect. He took the hand. It shows like translate. We can both translate as possible. We took the ball from the hand or with his hand. Then patang gahetva, having took the ball. So garang pavisitva, having re-entered the house, entered the house. Gatiya odanang uddarita. Gatiya is a pot, the pot where food was cooked. Having taken out, uddarita is taken out food. Pattam puritva, filling the patta with and Ayasmato Mahakassapa Sadasi gave it to Venerable Mahakassapa. It's a simple sentence, but many gerunds were used. So ahosi pindapato, aneka supo, aneka byanjano, aneka rasa byanjano. So these are bahubihi samasa. Various, aneka is various. Supa is a certain curry cooked with types of green peas and some other. It can be a green peas curry, or it can be some kind of a grain curry with a grain. That was considered very valuable in those days. So monks cannot accept this supa rice that we have received. Curries like meat and so forth. Aneka rasa byanjano, with various tastes. The food was with various tastes. So pindapato, aneka supo, aneka byanjano, anoka raso ahosi. Now you can see here the verb has come to the second place. In this sentence, the sentence starts with the verb. You can put the sentence as verb in the second place, third place, at the last, one before the last. So there's no order in that. So that curry was really delicious and very special curry. So then Atako Ayasmato Mahakassapa said that. So then this thought occurred to Venerable Mahakassapa. I think I don't need to explain it. Konuko ayang satto yassa ayang evarupo iddahanubhavu. So these are relative clauses there. Yassa ayang evarupo iddahanubhavu. So we divide this. Yassa ayang evarupo iddahanubhavu. Yassa is genitive case. Who has such a this. So we have to say ayang evarupo iddahanubhavu. So this ayang means refer to this, and such evarupo, this kind of a majesty or ability or wonder and so forth. So who is the one who has such a ayang satto? No, so this is the question form. Ko you don't need to translate. Ko ayang satto, who is this being? Ko ayang satto, who has yasai, who has this kind of a special miraculous ability. The thing is, the commentary says that the Sakka actually pretended. Sakka pretended to be very old, and even when when the Kassapa came, he asked his wife, "Oh, I have seen. It seems like someone has come." Like he was pretending that he couldn't see well. Then please go and check. Then the wife said, "Oh, you go and check by yourself." Then he went and bowed down to Venerable Kassapa, and even while standing, he was standing like an old man with both his hands, and he was like not very stable, like a old person. Then he even kept his hand on the palm on the forehead and looked, who is this? Then like he really pretended to be a very old person. Then he saw, this Mahakassapa has come, Venerable Mahakassapa, and then he went in and took the ball and went and offered the food. Even Venerable Mahakassapa was completely deceived. He thought, these are very poor family, I really should accept their food and do a favor to them by giving them merits. So this was his thought. He was deceived. Then Sakka went and offered the food, and he also mentioned, please accept our food. Don't think it's too bad. Whatever, like please don't consider the quality of our food. Just accept our food. Sakka was telling like that. So then when he offered, the food seems to be like very bad quality. But as soon as it was given to the hand of the Venerable Kassapa, it appeared in the divine form. So the smell was very, very powerful, very strong. Smell means the good smell. It was a nice scent came out of the food. And that's the time Venerable Mahakassapa thought, how could these poor people have this kind of food, like the food of the King Sakka, like divine food. Then he checked, who is this with his abilities, psychic abilities. Then he found that this is Sakka, not the old man that he used to pretend. Atako Aspato Mahakassapa said that Sakko ko ayang devana. After he checked, this thought occurred to him. He was confirmed. Sakko ayang deva. This is the Sakka, the deity, king of deities. Iti das viditva, having known das. Iti viditva, das having known. Sometimes iti have the meaning of evam. So having known thus, Sakkana Devan, Sakkam Devana Mindang Etatocha. He said this to the king. Ma eva rupang, ma punapi eva rupa makasi. Yeah, we'll conclude the class with this paragraph and leave the remaining for the next. Katanko te idang. So here, te, we don't need to focus on ko. Katan te idang. So we have to put this, arrange this. Te idang kata. So here te is the instrumental case of twang, right? Twang, instrumental case of twang. So we have a few meanings of the te. So it's instrumental here. This was done by you, right? This was done by you. Te idang kata. So done. This was done by you. So he used to say, the Kassapa used to say, according to the commentary, you did such a bad deed. Bad deed means you did a very bad deed. You took the merit of the poor people. So he was like telling, like you stole the merits of the poor people. So katanteida baharyang, it's a very heavy thing that you did. You did the opportunity. You got the opportunity of a poor man, one who could have gained lots of benefits by offering me, who emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti. Because if you offer to someone, some arahant who had just emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti with a very happy mind, something that you gain righteously, it says that there is a possibility that you may receive the results on that very same day, or within few days you receive the benefits. So that's why normally they enter into Nirodha Samapatti to increase the power of the merit done by other people towards them. So katante idang. So he said, you took the opportunity of a poor man, another poor man, and you offered the food. You, the king of deities, who has all the luxuries and prosperity. Kosya, these are name of the Sakka. Another name for Sakka. Ma punapi evarupang akasi. Evarupang akasi. I think we discussed on this point. Because of ma, prohibition. He's prohibited. Don't do it. So when we use the word ma, the subject verb should be, when we use the particle ma, the verb should be written in past tense or imperative case. Punapi, again, don't do such thing again, right? Don't do such thing again. Then the Sakka used to say, we'll conclude the class with this sentence, Amha kampi, even for Venerable Kasapa, vocative case, Amha kampi, api, this is even for us, punyena atto hoti. We are in need of punya. There is use for us. There is some, we have to translate, we are also in need of punya. Like pattena atto. If you are in need of something, the thing you need should be written in instrumental case. So, amha kampi punyena atto. There are needs for us with punya, right? We are also in need of punya. Amha kampi punyena karaniya. There are things should be done by us with merit. Amha karaniya. Because of karaniya, we use amha kam as the instrumental case, right? Instrumental case. Then amha kampi punyena karaniya. There are things that should be done by us with merits, right? So with merit. So then Venerable Kasapa used to ask, what is the use for your merit? Because you have already accumulated merits in past. So you are the king of the deities. Then he used to say, there are some deities who are born, because I used to do merits when there was no Buddha's dispensation. So there were no arahants. So some deities who have done merits based on arahants, towards arahants, when they are born in the divine realm, they overshine me. Their glory is more than me. So then he said, whenever I'm going out if in case for their festivals, in case those deities come into the field, come into the road, I go back and hide in my house because their glory is more higher than us. So I feel ashamed. So therefore, I also want to gain merits by giving to arahants who have already attained the noblehood, which I couldn't do as a person in the previous life. So that's why he says this. There are things that should be done by us with merits, and also we are also in need of merits. So that's what he used to say. That was his reply. Yeah. So we'll take the next paragraph to the next class, and also another sutta. Yeah. If you have any questions regarding this, so far we discussed.
Bhante?
Yes.
So the hatha door is whose hand? Is it Sakka's hand or
if you take instrumental, yeah, if you take instrumental, is the hand of the Sakka. If you take ablative, is the hand of the Mahakassapa. If you take ablative, it's from the Mahakassapa's hand. If you take instrumental, the Sakka's hand. Both are possible. Is it clear?
Yes, Bhante.
Bhante,
Okay.
how about in the commentary,
Yeah.
Bhante? Is it mentioned whose hand?
It doesn't mention. It doesn't mention actually.
Oh, okay, Bhante.
Doesn't mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Bhante.
So maybe in another commentary, maybe we can find. If I find, I'll let you know.
Oh, thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. So shall we call it a day then? Okay.
Okay,
Thank you
Bhante.
so much, Bhante.
Okay,
Thank you.
sadhu. So thank you for joining, and wish you all the best. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Okay, sadhu.